asymptomatic person actually transmits onward to a secondary individual.
Issues that I wanted to, I've got a number of questions about people refuse, what do we do if someone refuses to be tested? Well, they can't now. If someone refuses in our facilities to be tested, they have to keep staying. So they won't be able to leave after 14 days. They have to stay on for another 14 days. So it's a pretty good incentive. You either get your tests done and make sure you're cleared, or we will keep you in a facility longer. So I think most people will look at that and say, I'll take the test.
From the data we have, it still seems to be rare that an asymptomatic person actually transmits onward to a secondary individual.
So, as I said at the very beginning, look, there has been no playbook here. As we've seen issues, we've worked to tighten up. We know where our biggest threat is.
Good morning. The number of coronavirus cases in Victoria is growing at a rapid rate. The state recording 66 new infections overnight as the government tries to take control of the spike. We'll go live to Dougal Beattie in Melbourne. Dougal, good morning. What did the Premier have to say?
Well, a media conference with the Victorian Government has just got underway, Davina. It has been confirmed there are 66 new cases in Victoria today. The Victorian Premier, Daniel Andrews, has described those numbers as relatively stable, but there has been an increase in the number of people in hospital. 23 have been hospitalised, 6 are in intensive care now, and around 10,000 Victorians have refused to be tested in those hotspots over the past week. Some of them are claiming coronavirus is a conspiracy theory. Now, at least 7 people have been fined by police since the start of those stay-at-home orders came into effect. 5 were in a vehicle armed with weapons, while a female from a hotspot was found armed with a hammer in the city. The Chief Commissioner says officers are taking a more hardline approach.
What are you doing? Excuse me, what are you doing? What are you doing? What's that?
Collecting the information regarding this COVID-19.
COVID-19,
So
you're doing testing?
Door knockers, are you? Sorry? You're the door knockers? Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Are you giving the test? Yeah. Are you giving the test?
Where are you from? What country are you from?
We're from Nepal.
Nepal?
Yeah.
So Australian government hired you to come here?
The Australian government wants us to let you know what are the conditions of the people, the symptoms, whether they are having the symptoms or not.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and just encouraging them to have the test.
Okay.
If they have any symptoms.
Can you show me a test? What does the test look like?
When did you come to Australia? You just come here now, this week, or you live here?
No, we live here.
Oh,
you live here,
okay.
We're just collecting the information today.
Information today.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe tomorrow the healthcare team will be here for the test.
Ah.
We're just collecting the information.
Okay. Very cold, isn't it?
All right.
Yeah, very
Thank
good.
you.
Okay, thank you very much.
From the data we have, it still seems to be rare that an asymptomatic person actually transmits onward to a secondary individual.
How much of Australia have you sold off to China? Eh? It's not even your land, mate. You're the custodian of the land while you're in charge. Now, how much of Australia have you sold off to China? How much land of our land have you sold to China? You criminal!
Specially trained officers armed with semi-automatic weapons have been deployed on Adelaide streets to better protect South Australians from terror attacks. The Rapid Response Squad will be deployed at major events and in crowded city areas.
It's a confronting sight. Heavily armed officers with assault rifles at the ready, walking through Rundle Mall.
This is a different look for the South Australia Police. It's not a step that's been taken lightly.
From today, 48 new specially trained officers will be on South Australian streets ready to react to terrorist incidents, like the vicious knife attack that claimed 3 lives in a park in the UK just days ago.
It's a sad reality that we live in a world where there are people who wish to do us harm. for whatever issues that motivate them.
In this world of counter-terrorism, we need to have those extra levels of protection.
The squad, known as the Security Response Section, will be pre-deployed to big events and patrol at-risk places like Rundle Mall, the railway station and Central Market to deter and swiftly react to any potential threats.
Terrorist-based activities or radicalised people can act without any warning, so it is important that we remain vigilant.
As crowds return, authorities say people shouldn't be alarmed when they see members of the new squad at those events, as they'll be routinely patrolling mass gatherings.
By virtue of the fact that these officers are armed with this particular type of equipment means they are prepared to use it.
The officers will be at all AFL games as well as large-scale protests, such as the recent Black Lives Matter rally.
Remember that these officers are there to protect the community. We are pre-positioning ourselves to be able to respond to any eventuality, and that means that we have to have the right equipment to do so.
It cost $9 million to set up the new team, who have received specialist weapon and bomb detection training.
They will be there to make sure that South Australians are kept safe.
Kate Lamb, 9 News.
From the data we have, it still seems to be rare that an asymptomatic person actually transmits onward to a secondary individual.